Let's do an iron review. Wilson V6. Welcome back to the McGolf shop. As you can see, my range in the back. It's not real warm, but the wind was really dying down, and with the help of some heaters, I was able to test a club. Now, not only was I testing the Wilson V6, but I was testing the effect of the shaft on it. So what I did is I used a KBS Tour, a KBS Tour 105, and an Acra 90-gram graphite shaft. All approximately the same flex, and I used the exact same head, which was this one. The Wilson V6. All right, it's from the Forge series, an FG Tour model. There we go. And as you can see, it has a very thin top line. It has just a hair of offset. And if you'll notice, you see that light silverish piece here in the middle? That's a tungsten weight. And throughout the set, they place the tungsten in different spots for what they want. So in the upper one, or they might have a piece here and a piece here, and then in the middle they'll have this one, all with the idea of whatever they need that iron to be, whether it needs to be more stable or they need the ball to get up in the air. Now you also notice that right in here, that there is kind of a muscle in there. And this is kind of a player's, this is a player's iron, okay? It has a very thin top line, has very little offset. It's a very thin. It's cast out of an 8620 carbon steel, which is typically very soft. It's forged out of an 8620, which is very soft. But this thing sits really great at address. Now, the thing you want to know is because this thing is for a player, that the lofts aren't nearly as strong as you would see, say, in the C200 or other competitors that are just trying to give you more distance. This one is a 6 iron, and the 6 iron is 31 degrees. The 5 iron is 27, which I told you in another video is very much like the 5 iron of old, say 2 or 3 years ago. Now the average 5 iron is around 24 degrees, and the 7 iron runs around 31. So you should see this guy, for the average player, about, one club short, because, well, it is. But that's not what this is for. This is not for that player that's looking for distance. This is for the guy or gal that is got a pretty goodly club head speed and is looking for a lot of control, because there's not a lot of area for missing. So it's definitely into the player's club. So if you're looking for distance, not necessarily the one to go for. But if you're looking for a great feel or a great control, per se, or workability, this guy would be it. So keep that in mind. So now that we've gone through that, forged club, 8620, forged, all right, player's cavity. It's not too tremendously small, but man, it looks really good at address. So what did we do? Well, I wanted to see how the different shafts would impact the flight of the ball, distances that were concerned, how well a person would hit it. Now, I'm a small backswing. I make a pretty good turn into the ball, and I hit it at a descending blow, which is the way they want to. I don't know how I do it, but that's what they do. And I wanted to tell you what I had. So the first one was the KBS Tour. So what I did was I used 3 different shafts. And I used a KBS Tour. I used a KBS Tour 105. And I used the Acra 90 I-Series graphite shaft. Now what I wanted to do was see what my dispersion would be and what my distances would be. Those are the 2 big things when you put these different weights, because they're pretty much about the same flex. into the club, and we're going to see how they worked out. Now, the first one was the KBS Tour. The KBS Tour, I had a 90.7 mile an hour swing speed that resulted in a distance of 174 to 183 and about 8.5 yards offline to my right, which for me, I'm left-handed, is a draw. I hit it pretty decent with a smash factor of 128 and a spin rate of 45.12. Next was the KBS 105. And you would think for something lighter I would speed up, but in this case I actually went down on an average of 88 miles an hour, but I hit it extraordinarily well in comparison with a smash factor of 135, but the spin rate went up to 4,900 and some change, resulting in a carry of 176 and total of 184, but I was more offline, 19 degrees worth. And then my Acra was the highest swing speed at 91.7, and I hit it about as good as the KBS Tour at 1.29, but my spin rate was really low at 39.85, so I carried it a little bit longer at 180 and went out to 194. Now these are, remember, this was a 6-iron, and I'm about 20 degrees offline. So it's going to be hard to tell which one you did better based on what your priority is. I'm more of a combination of both. I would like to give up a little distance to be a little more accurate. How much distance is purely up to you. And if those numbers are really good for you. So really 180, low 180s to low 190s for a 6-iron, that could be pretty healthy. So that one's purely up to you. So keep in mind, the V6 is not as strong as most lofts in a traditional. The V6 is not as strong as what would be most current out there. This is a player's club, so it is more for your control, more for the distance, and it certainly feels really good being a forged club. The little 20 grams worth of tungsten helps get the ball up in the air, and once it's married up with the proper shaft, the right length and loft, you'll be fine. So if you like what you see, subscribe and hit the like button, and let's see your scores go low.